up, Raider Nation? I'm Hardcore Raider here in Colorado. I'm about an hour south of Denver. About 28 degrees, expecting 1 to 3 inches of snow. And then tomorrow it's supposed to be about 35 with 5 to 10 mile an hour winds. And it's usually not too bad unless it gets windy. Once it's like 40 degrees or colder, like 35, 30 degrees, and then if you get wind, then it gets real cold. I'm Hardcore Raider, your meteorologist, Raider Nation. I'm out. What's going on, Raider Nation? I'm Hardcore Raider, and this is a early broadcast of our show. We're a little light today, just with the holidays, people having some things to come up. But I just want to, first of all, wish the Raider Nation and all of the guys in here a Merry Christmas. Hopefully you guys have a good New Year as well. And then, with the college games going on today, we are starting a little bit earlier. And then time might adjust as well with a playoff potential and game times next week. But I just want to give a mad shout out to the guests we have here this morning. We got Raider Dave with GrimeCast on YouTube. We got Tuna with Bigger, Broader Sports on YouTube. And then Raider Zerko, which is a first-time guest, which is just a big-time Raider fan, but we're pleased to have him on here. And what's up, guys, man? Merry Christmas, man. How'd your Christmas go?
What's good, man? Good holiday season, man. Much love to you all. It was excellent, man.
Just like Dave said, Merry Christmas to you guys. Everything's good.
Yeah, everything's good, man. Blessed, man. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we are definitely earlier than normal, but I just want to thank the guys in the chat real quick. Miguel, Reno Raider, and Raider Roo. What's up, guys, man? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I didn't want to overlap, the college games and us as Raider Nation. We are probably going to be watching some games and seeing who the Raiders might need to be paying attention to in the draft. But, we'll get into that in more of an off-season show. But let's get into this show. And like we do every show with a new time guest, we want to, do a little short interview. So Raider Zerko, man, just tell us about your fandom, how long you've been a Raider fan, and, why you reached out to me and us and wanted to come on here and talk Raiders with us, brother.
I've been a fan my whole life. Started with my grandfather. He was, a fan when they was here in Oakland the first time. He followed them to L.A. He followed them when they came back here to Oakland the second time in, I think, 96. He has pictures of me all through his house, man. I was at the Charles Woodson last game. I was at the game where Tim Tebow threw the game-winning touchdown in the end zone. I was at the game, I think it was Rod Woodson had a 90-plus yard interception return for a touchdown. Probably one of my favorite games, which was probably our worst season, I think, was when we were 0-10 against Kansas City Chiefs, and we got that first win. I think we had Justin Tuck on the team at the time. That was probably one of my favorite games that I ever went to as a Raider. It was our first win of the year. But it's been, it's been a long time coming for me, and I just want to, join you guys because I know being on Twitter, doing a lot of networking, I haven't really had a chance to talk Raider football with actual Raider fans. Most people that I talk sports with, they're Niner fans or they're fans of other teams. I just want to actually get the input and talk to people who are actually Raider fans like I am. Some of y'all may have been Raider fans longer than I am, more diehard than I am, but I just wanted the opportunity to come on here and talk with you guys.
Hey, man, well, we're definitely grateful to have you on, and we all bleed silver and black, man, at the end of the day. And just so everybody knows, man, we will have some Raider fans that are non-Raider content creators on in the future. If anybody's like part of that category where you want to come on, you can be respectful. Even though we may have different opinions and stuff, as long as people are respectful, that's what this platform's for. It's about bringing, that unity to Raider Nation, one nation, Raider Nation, if you know what I'm saying, man. And just wanted to say, Raider Brandon, Vincent, and Mean, dude, what's up, fellas, man? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, it is an early show. But we're gonna smash this thing out and watch some college football. But next topic I want to get into is just thoughts on the Chargers game, man. I want to start with Raider Zerko and just get your opinion, what you thought of the Charger versus Raider game, and Raiders own LA. They dominated that stadium, and just give us your thoughts on that.
I don't know if you guys seen the video. I posted a video on Twitter because I watched the Chargers game from home. We're getting two stadiums. Technically, if you think about it, we're getting two stadiums. We're getting our own in Las Vegas, and everybody knows Los Angeles, even though the Rams are there, when we play the Chargers, that's us. That's our home game. I mean, Melvin Gordon said he wanted to jump in the crowd to get the crowd going, but when he turned around, there was all black jerseys. I mean, we took over the StubHub Center, 20,000.
Yeah.
Imagine what we're going to do next season. It's going to be 65,000, seats there at that new stadium. So 90% of that is going to be Raider fans. So I tell people all the time watching this Chargers game, we get in 2 stadiums. So we're going to have a 10 home game if you think about an extra home game going to LA. But I think our defense did a good job, man. I know it's not the season that we wanted, but I think John Gruden and Mike Mayock, they're taking steps in the right direction to get this defense together. And I think they did a good job on Phillip Rivers this last game in San Diego, in LA.
Hell yeah. Well, Raider Dave, man, I know you've been busy at the grind, dude, working away, so you took a little break. But appreciate you for coming on, man. It's a pleasure to have you back, dude, man. You're one of my strong brothers, man. So appreciate you coming on. But just your thoughts on the Chargers game, man.
Thoughts on the Charger games, man. I agree with Zerko, man. I'm a Southern California guy myself, man. I grew up on the LA Raiders. Very similar situation. My grandfather was a diehard Raider fan going back to the Ben Davidson days. And, that's what influenced me as a Raider fan. I got some, Southern California out here. We got the Rams, we got the Chargers, the Raiders. So definitely that LA home game is a guarantee. That's a guarantee. You brought up the Chiefs game that you went to, your most memorable Chiefs game, or the Chiefs Raiders game you went to on Thursday night in Oakland. I was at that Charger game the week before when they lost, and going into that week, and I just remember like Derek Carr. I'm like, you know what? There's something there with the quarterback. I can handle these losses, but. Recapping that game, like you said, man, defense, I mean, they shut them down to 19 yards rushing. I think the Raiders and Chargers matched up very well from a Paul Gunther standpoint. The game before that, they get 5 sacks, 3 interceptions in that game where Eric Harris took one to the house. And in this game, they completely shut them down and kept their adjustment in place, versus the Chargers. The Chargers really didn't have they weren't really able to answer, and the Raiders just kind of controlled the lead, and very similar to this Denver game coming up. I just think they match up well against the Broncos so far this year, and they match up well against the Chargers. But yeah, it was good to see Derek Carr use his legs. It was very, take that corner and use his instinct to know where the pylon's at, where to sneak that ball in, because you just got to break the plane. We know the past, that was quite frustrating. But yeah, man, very. I'm going to use the word. I'm satisfied with the win. I'm excited that we're still eligible for the playoffs. At the same time, I'm still a little frustrated off that 4-game losing streak. Once again, this is a young team, though. There's a lot of rookies on this team that are getting a lot of good rookie experience this year, and that could carry over. But if I could say one thing, getting a win in December is something you can definitely carry on into the offseason. So,
hell yeah, dude. I love it, man. Big Tuna, dude.
The defense played completely the other way that their stats say. It was I think they're averaging allowing 32 points a game and all that stuff, because they did some stats on the Denver game, and our run defense is decent, but the rest of it is not good, and they just played nothing like they should have, which is a good sign, because we can get upset about the 4 lose streak and all that, but anytime we play the Chargers, Chiefs, or the Broncos, maybe it's not so much against the Chiefs lately, but against those other 2 teams, it's always competitive, and it's going to be a good game. And just like what Raider Dave was saying, they just match up really well against Denver, and against the Chargers. It's always nice to see Phillip Rivers be upset.
Yeah,
it's just something that. It's, I don't know. I know Phillip Rivers is a faithful man and all that stuff, but I don't know. I don't get his way of playing, because when you talk that much smack, when you lose, you look like a dummy.
Yeah.
Wait till after the game to talk like that. Especially the Thursday night game when he did that. I don't know what that was, the little thing with his hands, and they drove right down the field and scored. It's like, dude, don't motivate the team you're playing against. I mean, we enjoy it as Raiders fans, but and you said Derek Carr looked a little bit zoned in. He didn't look like, he was kind of had his, the Eli Manning look where he was like, when he scored that touchdown, you could tell that he threw it over the end zone, over the stadium. It looked like he was so happy to actually get into the end zone and kind of prove to the Raiders fans that he's still here. Even though they might move on from him, he's still here right now, and that was a good sign. And hey, the DeAndre Washington, Jalen Richard did a decent job, and it's always good to have Hunter Renfrow back. That guy, he's going to end up being like Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. It's just going to be it depends on which quarterback has him, but he's going to be one of those guys who's going to be very reliable from here on out. And I hope the front office realizes that as well, because he's not like, what was he, 5'10", 160, but still, it's just they need to play like they did this game in the next game, and I think they've got a great shot of beating the team. No matter how cold it is, they still have a good shot of beating that team. Beating the Donkeys there.
Hell yeah, man. I agree, dude. I can't stand Phillip Rivers, and like just seeing him upset, dude. I recorded that. He's like, I can't hear. I'm just like, dude. Oh man, I loved it. But and then Derek Carr running into the end zone. All I could think of is like, please don't dive, dude. Please don't do the basketball dunk, one-handed dive in the end zone, dude. And he got it. And I just scratch my head because I'm with Dave these last 4 weeks. I mean, we could easily be in a different position than we're in right now. Even though I know other people's take is like, well, we're over exceeding expectations, but my take is a little bit different than that. And so it's kind of disappointing to be in the position we're in. But at least we got the win, and Carr did produce pretty well, I would say. Against the Chargers, I think it was like 26 for 30 or whatever. But
very efficient.
I scratch my head. I'm like, why don't we get more of that? There's so much inconsistency. I don't want to get on the Derek Carr train, dude. We've been talking about that for a while, but we need that same consistency, especially, this weekend or whatnot. But, it was a great win. Raiders own LA, and, it ain't going to be like that in Donkeyville this week. But, let's move on to Big Tuna, man. I know you got a couple topics, but I want to give another shout out real quick. West Coast and join us, and then Miguel, dude, just want to say what's up to everybody. Means in there, dude. Vincent, everybody who's checking us out, dude. Just appreciate you guys, and please help spread the word. Please sub to the channel. We're gonna keep bringing it. We'll be doing some shows in the off season, and then next week we should be having Kenny from Pillaging Podcast, the Violator, Wayne Mabry, Murph from Raiders Fan Radio, and then Q with Locked On Raiders, and then me, and I think it's Watts. But but anyways, it should be a great show to close it out, and then hopefully we'll have more of that down the road, and the off season maybe a couple times, and then next season. But Big Tuna, man, tell us. I know you got some stats, you got some stuff for us as far as Raiders once we moved back to Oakland. So
so from 95 to now
that you got for us, brother.
I've always been a stats guy. Always will be a stats guy. I'm a numbers guy. So I decided, hardcore gave me a little bit of idea. So I decided to look at how many 1,000-yard rushers, receivers, and then tight ends we've had over 1,000 yards.
That was Dave's idea, by the way. But
what's that?
That was Raider Dave's idea.
Oh, hey, Dave, sorry about that.
No, it's all good, man. You don't have to credit me, man.
I don't want it, man. You deserve it, brother. That was good.
For the receiving side, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, well, obviously Tim Brown, Jerry Rice and stuff like that. But there's some names on the rushing side that, if you've been a fan of the Raiders since 95 to now, some of those names, you can't believe that they made 1,000 yards. Like in 95, I don't know if anyone remembers Harvey Williams.
Yeah, I was at the game where he scored 4 touchdowns. Harvey was my guy. Harvey was my guy.
What was it? He had 1,114 yards.
Wow.
97 was Napoleon Coffin, where he was on the cover of what was it, like 2K, whatever, 97, where he had 1,249 yards, which is the most since the Raiders have come back to Oakland. So he has that record. 2000, who do you think made 1,000 yards in 2000?
Napoleon Kaufman?
Nope.
What?
Wait, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Who got 1,000 yards in the year 2000?
Wheatley?
Year 2000.
Was it Tyrone Wheatley?
Was
he our running back?
Yeah, it was Wheatley. Yeah.
Because I remember NFL came up with the video game NFL 2K. He was one of the best running backs on that game.
And if a sincere stat guy, Tuna, real quick, man, did Garner have like 900 receiving and 900 yards rushing somewhere in that window too? It was like close, but
yeah, he never made 1,000 for
Yep.
So now we're getting after 2000. We're getting into the nitty gritty years.
Yeah, this is where it hurts.
But we've had 5 since 2005 that have made. None of them ever repeated, but just each. So 2005, I will give a real props if you know who made it then.
Well, I know McFadden's one of them.
Not in 2005.
Not in 2005. Okay, 2005.
It's
Lamont Jordan.
Foster
Nope.
That was his name.
Someone just said it. Someone said Jordan.
Lamont Jordan. Yeah, number 34.
Oh,
Yep.
Jordan. Dang,
Picked him up from the Jets.
Wow.
He should have been a good back for us too, man.
Do you remember where he came from?
New York Jets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Being from New York, I was like, all right, this guy, and he actually did produce. He only had 1,025 yards, but still in 2005, that was.
And I'll be honest, Tuna, I didn't know that. I didn't know he cracked 1,000. I mean, I probably knew that back then, but it didn't register right now.
I'm pretty sure that was the year of Randy Moss, Kerry Collins, and Lamont Jordan when they all kind of had, like, Randy Moss had 1,000. Lamont, I think Kerry threw for over 4,000. 2007, my all-time favorite Raider, but not many won. It's not McFadden. You guys should know this one. 2007.
1,000-yard running back.
He was gritty. He was a gritty guy.
Justin Vargas.
Yep.
Vargas. That was the guy I was thinking of. I couldn't think of his name.
Vargas.
Shout out to USC, baby.
He was. It's funny that when he came into the Raiders, he was supposed to win the Heisman, but Carson Palmer was on his team. And the Heisman. 2010 is an easy one. That's McFadden.
Yeah.
Which is so sad because he had 1,157 yards. He should have had so much more. I know everyone said that, but that year with Tom Cable, he should have had 2 in a row with Tom Cable, but then he ended up getting hurt, as he usually did. And then 2015 was Murray.
Yep.
And then 2019 is Jacobs, which he's not playing. It doesn't look like he's playing tomorrow, so he stops at 1,150. So he is second all-time right now for 1,000-yard seasons. So Napoleon Kaufman's still number one. I'm guessing that Jacobs is going to have way more than 1,250, at least one season.
And if I could say something, Tuna, that's why that 1,000-yard stat is so key, because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And this is great for the future, man, with Josh Jacobs, man. This is your centerpiece right now in the offense. Josh Jacobs, he's got a nose for the end zone, and he can get you those yards, man. And those mean a lot in the NFL.
I was thinking about it too, and like some of those older Raiders, like Michael Bush. Oh my goodness, who was the other guy? They drafted. No, it was Bush. That was a kid from Louisville. That was Bush. He never had 1,000, which surprised me a little bit. And I'll always remember that McFadden and Vargas together was always deadly, but they each didn't. Either one was hurt or the other one. You know what I'm saying? It was just like they were always right there. Especially because I was a Vargas fan. More than anything. And every time I see Latavius Murray's name, I get so sad because he's a great Raider. As much as I love Beast Mode, I think we should have held on to him.
Oh, yeah.
Other than Beast Mode.
Man.
Who else?
Picture him with Jacobs.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you know what scares me, though, do you think they would have drafted Jacobs if they had still had Murray?
Ooh, I think so. Bama back. If I could say one thing about Latavius Murray, though, man, he was so good at protecting Carr in that pocket, man. His blocking skills were there. As of Josh Jacobs is good at picking up blocks as well. But, man, he was really key in that offense in 2016.
Which is crazy because Jacobs wasn't talked about coming out of Alabama because he wasn't their starting back.
No, I know.
Yeah. So he wasn't talked about coming out of Alabama.
And he left. I believe he left the team early. No, he was. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was the first one taken. So the guy in front of him, I don't even think the guy in front of him is on the team. Is Harris?
No.
Harrison.
Yeah, I think he went like 5th or 6th round, maybe.
Yeah, which is kind of like the Kenyon Drake thing. Where he never ran the ball at all, and he still got drafted by the Dolphins. Like the 3rd or 4th round.
I'll be right back. I want to give my favorite on that list. I don't know if we're going to list our favorite, but I'm going to steal it. I'm going to say Jacobs, my favorite out of all those.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. There's all about the future right now, man.
Yeah. That's exactly what he is. He's the future. That's exactly what he is.
The one thing, too, is that, like Harvey Williams, I remember from like Madden 96. But Tyrone Wheatley, if you remember him at the Giants, everyone hated him. and because he always fumbled, but he never fumbled for the Raiders. I don't know what happened, kind of that Tiki Barber thing where he got a different coach and all of a sudden he never fumbled again. There wasn't really much else that surprised me. I mean, I think Lamont Jordan was the biggest surprise. But the list of some of the guys that we've had at running back is just so funny. Of some of the guys that, like, at the bottom where you see like the 200-300 yards because they were the backups. It's like, I forgot the one guy's name. He played for Carolina, came over a year, and he was the one that got in the fight with Takeo Spikes. Got Takeo Spikes kicked out for the game against the Chargers. Goodson. And it was just so funny that he was the man that took away Takeo Spike's big paycheck. It's always funny to me. I don't know why. So moving on to the receivers, I mean, Tim Brown. We all love Tim Brown. He had over 1,000 yards in Oakland 7 times.
Yeah.
And it was 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, and 2001. So he was just consistent. That consistency that,
Can I say something real quick on Tim Brown, though?
Go ahead.
Those are such phenomenal numbers for a guy who caught the football in the middle of the field back then. And those are safeties, man, that you did not want to match up against. You're getting hit by Rodney Harrison in this league. I mean,
Reed.
And that was when I wanted replay to come back then because I was like, hey, they're taking catches away from Tim Brown. Replay is going to show that he got the catch. Yeah. Well, we know replay ended up really screwing us over for years to come after that.
The big thing for me about Tim Brown is that you look at his stats, and he had to wait 2 or 3 years to get into the Hall.
6 years. 6 years he had to wait for the Hall. 6 years. He was eligible in 2000 because he retired in 2005, so he was eligible in 2010, right?
You remember the last team he played for?
The Bucks.
Bucks. There you go. Good one. At least it was the Bucks. I thought he got cut. That was Jerry Rice who ended up getting cut by a team.
The Seahawks. Yeah.
But the thing too about Tim Brown that this guy was reading something from the San Francisco Chronicle, which we all hate San Francisco, and I know that. But he put up a good stat that the writer said the writer and Tim Brown have the same amount of receiving touchdowns in the playoffs, which is 0. That was the big thing. He's never caught a touchdown in the playoffs.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I
never thought of that, actually, to be honest.
In those Gruden teams, he had a lot of yards, but I think a lot of touchdowns went to Jerry Rice. A lot went to Jerry Porter, which didn't make 1,000 either, which was interesting because I remember he was the only thing we had for a couple of years. But Jerry Rice was 2000 and 2002, which is the first year Brown didn't get 1,000 yards, which is kind of interesting. But I've always heard that Brown and Rice did get along. Like when it first happened, it was like, how are you gonna? But then again, it's like those guys, as much as we love football now, those guys really cared about the team more than their own personal. What I'm saying? So, and Jerry Rice is the highest. No, I'm sorry. Tim Brown's the highest total with 1,496.
That's going to change soon.
And hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jerry Rice was second with 1211. So after those guys, you've got Randy Moss at 2005 with 1,005 yards. And from 2005 to 2015, we had 0 receivers.
Until we got Cooper.
Receiving. And I looked at some of the names and like Javon Walker, Tim Dwight. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
Mike,
oh God,
Mike Williams from the USC teams that he left early. Just some of like Darius Hayward-Bay, obviously, Jacoby Ford, Lewis Murphy. One of my all-time favorites that never did anything, but when he had a chance, he did was Chaz Schillens. Schillens caught a lot of touchdowns, but he just couldn't get on the field enough. I don't know what he did, you know what I'm saying? And
he had the number 81 too.
Yeah. And, like Lewis Murphy. Lewis Murphy was another one that was he just was always there, but he could never get over, And obviously Hayward-Bay, but he couldn't catch a cold in the winter. But after that, like I said, after 2015 or 2005, that 10-year span into 2015, everybody knows the receivers there. You got Amari Cooper twice in 2015 and 2016, and then Crabtree with 2016 as well with 1,000. And then after that, it's been nothing for the receivers. I mean, some of them have been very close, but not all of them have gotten to that 1,000-yard thing. And I've always liked that 1,000-yard because honestly, it just means that I think the stats like 62 yards. You got to be able to have 62 yards a game to get there. And if you're a professional, you should be able to do that, but sometimes there's different factors in that. Then we move over to the tight ends, and there's only one.
Well, hey, hold on. Does anybody got any takes on receivers? Like, who's your guys' favorite wide receiver? And then, hey, King Savage was in the chat. He said Bo Jackson was the best running back ever, dude. That's my favorite Raider player all time, dude, even though it was short-lived. But shout out to King Savage for calling that, dude. I love me some Bo, man.
Oh, well,
I still have Bo Jackson picture, man, where he's got the shoulder pads and the baseball bat.
If you ever, I think everyone's seen that where he injured himself, it didn't even look that bad.
No.
But he knew because all of a sudden his kids came on the field and we're sitting with him, and it's like he must know something that we don't. That it's just like he's like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. He was just so talented that he didn't need to prove himself anymore.
But watching him come back when he played baseball, when he was trying to round the bases, man, that didn't look good, man. That hip was stiff. And one thing, though, I'll say about Bo Jackson, as much as I loved him, as much as I enjoyed him, that led to a lot of depression amongst a lot of us, man, because we didn't get to see that second phase, man, in the late 90s, what Bo could have done later on in the 90s, man, battling with Barry Sanders was that, you had Barry Sanders running the football. You had Bo Jackson. I mean, we really missed out on a lot of great football from Bo Jackson. And that, to me, was depressing, a lot back then, man.
Thurman Thomas, Emmitt Smith, dude. Bo Jackson would have been up there with the elite, man. It's just it's so sad, dude, that it broke my heart, dude. And then Sam was in here saying Raiders are going to be playing the Chiefs next week, dude. And he's like talking about believe it. We'll be getting into that here in a little bit. But, what are you guys' thoughts on that list he gave for wide receiver? And, there obviously is some seasons, where we didn't have 1,000-yard wide receivers. But, just so everybody knows, this list is just what we've had since the Raiders moved back to Oakland. This is like our little tribute to Oakland little thing here that Dave came up with, which is great. But, my favorite personally is Tim Brown, dude. I love Tim Brown. And like you were talking about Jerry Rice, Jerry Rice said something that he came to the Raiders to help his buddy Tim Brown try to get a Super Bowl ring. And I think Jerry Rice was really disappointed he wasn't able to get a ring, not necessarily for himself. I wouldn't say Jerry Rice was a true Raider. I appreciated him being a Raider, and I was really pumped, with what he did with us and for us. But, I think he was more disappointed that he wasn't able to help Tim Brown get a ring, But what are you guys' thoughts on those receivers? And who stands out to you, or who do you guys really like? Raider Zerko, man.
Well, like Raider Dave said, with Tim Brown, he has to be the number one because nowadays what he did then, wide receivers don't do now as far as being that wide receiver that's catching these balls up literally in the middle of the field, taking them hit from them safeties. Because if these wide receivers that play now was playing then, getting hit by the Air Reeds and the Troy Palomalus of the world, this would be a whole different game.
Yep, so, a lot of protocols.
Tim Brown, he has to go down because he was tough. And Jerry Rice coming was kind of a good thing as well, but it's unfortunate Jerry couldn't get it for us or him. But it has to be Tim Brown because he did things. He wasn't scared, catching that ball, middle of the field, taking them hits. You can't deny that man that.
He was a good punt returner too, and that usually shows when you're a good punt returner, that means you really aren't afraid. Coming at you, and it's just like, and that's when punt returning meant something. It's not like it is now where you get a flag on every return no matter what. But the question I would like to hear is from 2005 to 2015, who was your favorite wide receiver?
Well, I'll say Michael Crabtree.
Yeah, no, it's not. That don't count. That's
2000 to what year? To 15?
When we were crappy.
Ooh.
Because mine's Chaz Schillens.
I love Chad Schillens, man, because he had grit. He had a lot of grit when he caught the football. He caught it in traffic, and there was some. So I would agree, Chad Schillens, but I did like Jacoby Ford a lot, man. The fifth rounder. Yeah, he was so fast, quick. And Clemson, they put out those nifty players, man, and he's an both were Al Davis fine, so I'm totally cool with it. I was pulling for Hayward Bay, I won't lie, man. I was banking, like hoping, like, hey man, just if you can use your hands and utilize your hands to catch the football, he could be dangerous, but that never worked out. But I was in his corner. It was frustrating watching. That was a blown pick in the first round.
Well, you had to be in his corner because the Raiders, it was just. No one gave him a shot to do anything, and I think he just last year so you think about that from 2007 to now, he's been in the league, but he ended up being like a special teams captain and stuff like that. Because even when he went to Indianapolis, I think T.Y. Hilton got hurt, and so did Reggie Wayne, and he was like the guy, and like they had two receivers the next week coming in over him because they were like, this guy can't do anything. He made some catches that surprise you. But a lot of times you just want to smack him in the head and be like, dude.
Hey, well, Byron Live 95 on YouTube, he did a great video of Jacoby Ford, and that's a guy. I agree with you, Dave, man. That was a guy I liked a lot, but I think when we switched coaching staffs or something, they went a different direction. But he kind of fizzled out after the Raiders. It was kind of sad, man, because I really liked that dude. He was quick.
He went to the Colts and didn't even make the team.
Yeah,
wow.
Not the Colts,
I know, but
the Jets. The Jets. He didn't.
I can't remember, but you should check out that video. Byron Live 95. It's like what happened to Jacoby Ford. If you search that, it'll probably pop up. He did a great video, man. Yeah, but, what else you got for us, buddy?
Just for the tight ends, there's only one. I mean, Darren Waller. Not much of a list there.
All right. And if you don't mind, I'll just close out real quick with this whole thing with the 1,000 yards, man. To me, this is what matters most with these building blocks, like Darren Waller getting 1,000 yards as a tight end, Josh Jacobs getting 1,000 yards as a running back. Now, Derek Carr, we want to see him get that 4,000, consistently get 4,000 yards a year. And I'm going to get to my point on that is we've seen this with the Chiefs. We've seen it with the Broncos. The Broncos always had those 1,000-yard backs. They're getting those regular season wins. The Chiefs, they've had a regular season resume going 30 years strong with no Super Bowl appearance, I might add. But they have that streak of winning regular season games from Marty Ball till Andy Reid now. And we've seen how many 1,000-yard backs. A back goes down, another one steps in, he's got 1,000 yards. Building that committee of backs and building those targets like a Darren Waller, or who knows what Foster Moreau has to offer in the future. He caught some nice touchdowns this year. So those pieces are in place. If we get that electrifying playmaking receiver, and then hopefully it leads to Carr getting those 4,000 yards, we can compete in this division as you need to, because we've seen the way this division plays out the last 20, 30 years, man. We got to get back on track, to get to back to that glory of the Raiders, I should say.
It seems like we were lucky in the standpoint of we need a playmaking receiver, because from what ESPN, CBS Sports, and all them saying, this is the deepest wide receiver class they've seen in years. So it's like, okay.
I heard that. Daniel Jeremiah said that, and he's been around for a while now too.
And even if we don't get like someone like CeeDee Lamb or the kid from Alabama, honestly, I'd rather see one of those guys not be a Raider, both of them. But there's someone in there that even if we pick them, it's just there. We could pick probably someone in the third round that can contribute too. It's just going to be a lot of, they got to pick the right guy in the first round. And then after that, if some of those guys are dropping like Metcalf did last year and he's doing great this year, hopefully we could do something like that. We could fill out that roster where, like you said, Moreau, Waller, they're going to be like, I don't like to say his name, but like, Gonzalez and Gronkowski was for a while, and all that stuff. So, I don't want to go back to the Carr thing, but if they end up picking a wide receiver and he's pretty good and Derek Carr still can't produce, he's got to go.
Yep.
People are now in place.
Yep.
And it's just, now it's your time to shine, Derek.
That's right.
This is it. I thought this year this was going to be it with Antonio Brown, but, obviously, whatever. But still, more of a, if we get one of those receivers in the first round, it's like, dude, you got nothing to say now.
Yep.
No complaints, just go play football.
That's right. I completely agree. You got a great offensive line in front of you, too. You know, that's a high-priced offensive line, and we want to see more of those back shoulder throws. We want to see that football field get stretched. When he does it, he can connect. So
it's always nice to see Raiders players get 1,000 yards. I don't know why. It's always nice to see it.
Because we're hungry, man. That's why we're hungry for it, man.
Hell yeah, man. Well, let's get into this rivalry, Dave, man. What you got for us, buddy, man?
All right, man. So we got Raiders-Broncos, man. We're going to start off with the most memorable Bronco game, man. Your most memorable Bronco game going back, to 1995, the entire second phase of the Oakland era, man. Mine that sticks to me because there's so many. I mean, even losses, man. There's the game where we had the snowball fight and that loss. That's still a memorable game to me. There's Napoleon Kaufman running for the 200+ yards on a Sunday afternoon. I remember I had the Broncos on a football pool back then that won me a football pool. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Won me like $500 back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember Fedco, but Fedco's an old store before Walmart. Out here, Walmart took them out. So I worked at Fedco back then. So shout out to that. But my most memorable game was 2002. I actually went to that game in Oakland. It was the last time they won the West. And it was like hard to pick that game as them being the last time they won the West. But that was a memorable game where Bill Romanowski flexed in front of the black hole. I was on the opposite side and I could see the whole black hole just rise up. And it was just the fire in the crowd, the electricity. So that just goes down as the most memorable, the friendships that I had with people that some of them aren't with us anymore. I mean, like time has gone by, you know what I mean? So some of those people aren't even here. Rest in peace, man. And like, just that's the one that I latch onto. D-size batteries and the snowballs. Yes. Now that was a famous one because they started doing that in Denver because there was Mike Shanahan actually got hit with a D battery in Oakland. I believe earlier that season, Mike Shanahan got hit with a D battery and they actually had to take him off the field. And then they brought him back, and he was able to coach.
Battery.
What was that?
Should have been a car battery.
Oh no, shit! Yeah, you got yep. But that was my most memorable game. But there's so many. I mean, even the Phantom timeout in Denver. The Phantom timeout when Janikowski was lining up for like a 59 or 56 yarder. Man, you know what I mean? Like, even though I was just pissed, but that's still a memorable moment. It's like it leads to the true meaning of the rivalry, the back and forth, the hate, and that's what that leads to. So, but yeah, 2002, that one I'm taking with me as the most memorable Raider Bronco game since 95.
Nice, man. Hey, Raider Zerko, man, you got a memorable Raiders versus Donkeys game, man, or something like that? Or
I want to say maybe
and the importance of this rivalry, what it means to you, man.
The 2015 game, I think that was the Khalil Mack, 4 or 5 sack game.
Yes.
And I don't look at that game for Khalil Mack's sacks. I like that game because of Derek Carr's production. We were down 12-0, and him leading us to that comeback. It was remarkable to watch. Every time I see that when I'm on tour, I'm like, that's the Derek Carr I want to see in 2020. That's the Derek Carr. I know he don't have the pieces, but that's what I want to see. But that 2015 game to me was probably my most memorable game with Khalil Mack, 5 sacks, Derek Carr leading the charge and leading us to a comeback, man. And this Denver rivalry, it goes back. I think this may be bigger than Chargers in Kansas City, especially when you involve Bill Romanowski, who's played for I think both teams, correct?
Yep.
So I think Denver may be probably one of the most hated teams that we have as far as the AFC West goes. So every time we win, I'm loving it.
Do you remember what receiver Derek Carr hit in the end zone for that game?
Was it?
It was a tight end.
I know it was in the back. Was it Clyde Wofford?
No, it was Rivera.
Okay, I know it was in the back of the end zone. It was a sliding catch. Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, I remember that.
Another 2 tight ends that I thought had some potential to be, and they never made it either.
That's that game, the 2015 game for me. That catch was just crazy. That throw. I didn't think he was going to get there at all.
So to piggyback off you, Zerko, I've got 2, and they're both tied. The first one was when Jamarcus Russell came in relief and hit Chaz Shillings from like 8 yards out to beat
the sideline. The sideline grab? Are you talking about the side when he caught it on use his feet? Oh yeah, that was nice.
And then knocked the Broncos. So Jamarcus Russell literally knocked the Broncos out of the playoffs, which you would never ever hear, ever again, but still, that's one of my favorites. And the other one was 2016 Sunday Night Football. Denver had just won the Super Bowl the year before. It was prime time, and we destroyed them in Oakland, and it was just so nice to see that as much as we had our few primetime games haven't been great. When we made Nick Mullins look like Joe Montana.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And even Jamarcus Russell era, when we were getting killed by halftime, it was like, we're done. Just turn it off. But that game there was just, we dominated them. We could watch the whole game, and we really never winced. And it was just an overall domination of. I think Matt got a sack. Murray scored 2 touchdowns. Carr threw a couple. It was just perfect. And that's like, we don't get many of those games where we're just sitting there and just relaxing and watching.
Like we're good. Halftime's here. We're up. We're good. Yeah. We ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah, it just seemed like they were the better team, and they were. But still, it's just I think it was week 5. So still, you still got the stench of that Super Bowl win. So it's like, hey, we beat the Super Bowl champs, even though they didn't make the playoffs that year. But still, at that point, it was awesome.
And they won that. They won the. You had that defense. They won their Super Bowl with that defense. And what was key about that game, what I liked, and Chris Collinsworth pointed that out during the game, is our offensive line, like especially KO in that game. Yeah. They were dominating. They were dominating up front, and that's what was pleasing really to see that day. But I agree with Zerko as well. That Khalil Mack game, man, you could feel it before halftime. Even though we were down at halftime, you could feel that they were going to win that game in that game as well. So yeah, they're all great games, man. There's so many. It just leads up to the rivalry and the hate and all that. Yep.
Hey, so man, I always have a hate list, man. You know what I'm saying? There's people that hate the Niners and stuff, but here's my hate list: Denver Broncos, Chiefs, Patriots, Chargers, and Steelers right in there, Ravens, and then Niners are like at the bottom of my list. But nobody I fucking hate more than the Broncos, man. I can't. My wife's family are all Bronco fans, and they're cool. They're respectful to me for the most part, but other than my wife's family being Bronco fans, dude, I can't go anywhere, dude. And I hated the Broncos even before I moved here to Colorado, like 10 years ago, before I moved from Cali. And, I just I don't even know how to explain it, dude. All I know is like last season, dude, there's this fool, man. I went to the Broncos game. It was the first game of the year when we played the Broncos last year. And this dude comes up to my house, like my neighbor's son-in-law or some shit, wearing this brand new Broncos hat. He's like, "Hey, Mike, how'd you like that game?" Just straight up, went out of his way just to be a piece of shit. And I know it's football. That's how football fans are, whatever. I usually don't rub it in other people's faces, man, because I'm the kind of guy where I let my actions speak for themselves. You know what I mean? I'll just give a little smirk and I'll know that we kicked your ass. You know what I'm saying? But so I fucking hate these motherfuckers, dude. I'm going to the game. And there's nobody I hate more than the fucking donkeys, man. They're the only bigger jackass fans out there than Cowboy fans are fucking donkey fans, dude, because they never shut the fuck up.
Cowboy fans.
They never shut up. It's always straight from the horse's mouth, man. And they just fucking always keep talking, dude. Just shut the fuck up. I hate the Broncos. I'm going there as a sheep amongst wolves. I'll be one of the few black jerseys up in the stadium. It's going to be fucking cold, if you know what I'm saying. And memorable games, man. I got a ton of memorable games. A lot of John Elway beating our ass back in the day.
Yeah.
4-minute, 2-minute comebacks, dude. So I can't stand the Broncos, man. And especially a lot of the bandwagon fans when I was growing up as a kid, dude. A lot of people became Bronco fans because of Elway and then the Super Bowl in the late 90s. But my most memorable game actually might be the one you're talking about, or it might have been a year earlier, Dave. But I don't remember the exact year. All I remember is we played the Broncos. I think it may have been in Oakland. And there was 10 guys injured in that fucking game. Shannon Sharp got injured. Ed McCaffrey, Rod Smith. I think Tim Brown got injured, and a bunch of our guys got hurt, man. It was just a smash mouth, hard nosed football game, dude, like a bloodbath, dude. The way the rivalry was meant to be. And that game was just something else, dude. I don't even remember if we won that game. I just remember the whole time I was like, break his face, at the fucking TV and shit. My dad's like, calm down, why are you freaking out? And you know what I'm saying? So then I went to the donkey game last year in Oakland, dude, which I thought was going to be the last game, that Christmas Eve game. Just a beautiful way that, the Raiders like came on, and, it was raining, and then the rainbow came out over the Al Davis torch. And then, it's just the way that everything happened in that game, dude. The run back for the touchdown, Harris running that back. I mean, that was one of my favorite games. I mean, maybe because I was there, it was
a big game, man. That was a big game.
I mean, just the energy, dude. I'll be honest, the stadium was not full last year, but the way the crowd riled up, dude, giving 110%, dude, it was like we were 2 stadium fulls, man, dude. You could just feel that energy, and I love games like that, man. And so, that was really special to me, and thank God the Raiders still dominate even though, here's the funny thing, dude, when Bronco fans want to run their mouth and shit, they're like, Raiders suck, because we've done not good, to say the least, for the last 17 plus years. But it took them how long to get their 3rd ring? You've been riding on our coattails for how long to get your 3rd ring? So shove that up your ass. And how have we sucked for as long as we have, and we still beat you in the overall record of 65, 53, and 2. We have still beat you 65 times and lost 53 times, dude. As bad as we've sucked, dude, they should be dominating us. So as far as I'm concerned, dude, donkeys can go suck a fat donkey. Dee-hee. You know what I'm ready, dude. It's gonna be
hell
cool,
yeah,
man,
dude.
but
That's gonna be a big game to go to, man. It's pretty much the last Oakland Raider game, man. The last game you'll see the Oakland Raiders, man.
It's gonna be about 30 degrees, give or take, and 5 to 10 mile an hour winds. But just so you guys know, 5 to 10 mile an hour winds, they don't sound like a lot, but that drops it between 5 to 10 degrees. So if it's 30 degrees, it's gonna feel like 20. If it's like 10 degree, with the wind chill and stuff. So it's it's a later game. It is supposed to be sunshine. We're supposed to get some snow tonight here, but like snow melts, or whatever. But it's still probably going to be a pretty cold game or whatnot. But we'll see how it goes. But I know you had some other stuff, Dave. So I'll let you roll with.
We're gonna throw it back a little bit. We're gonna toss it back a little bit. We're gonna go the Maverick Al Davis, man. Sniffing out the rat in Mike Shanahan, axing him. The personal beef that went on, man, from Mike Shanahan dressing up as Al Davis every Halloween to Al Davis axing him no pay. I think that defined a little bit of what we saw, what didn't surprise us as fans as time went on. You would see Lane Kiffin act up after all this. You know what was going to happen to Lane Kiffin. He's getting fired. When he says, I'm firing you with cause, you're not getting paid. And it sounds crazy. It sounds cruel, what I'm saying, because a lot of fans coming up to me during these both eras, how can Al Davis do this? Or how can Al Davis do that? The crazy thing is, and this guy just brought up a great point, Ronald Curry's catch in the end zone in the snow. That was an awesome game on Monday night. Sunday night or Monday Night Football, if I recall. But yeah, the one-hander in the back.
Yeah.
Ronald Curry, man, if he don't roll up that Achilles, man, who knows what he could have been, man. But yeah, no, twice. I was at the second game where he rolled it up the second time. But, Al Davis and Mike Shanahan rivalry, which led to, how the NFL portrayed Al Davis. Did that lead to bad calls in the future? Did this, Al Davis trying to sue the NFL, all that stuff that took place for the next, 20 years that we always read about in the papers? And why are we getting where did they come up with this tuck rule in 2001? They got this index card that shows the ball short.
God.
They got, you got the Lewis Murphy touchdown they took away. I don't know if you remember when against the Chargers when Vincent Jackson catches a pass for a first down. Vincent Jackson catches a pass for Vincent Jackson for the Chargers. In 06 when the Chargers had a really good season, he gets a first down, gets up untouched, celebrates, spikes the football. The Raiders defense is alert, recovers it, and they still rule it as an incomplete pass to Vincent Jackson. And I'm like, these types of calls, man, I just think that it really started at that era. Yeah, I know it went before that in the early 80s because they had some issues with Al relocating the team from Oakland to LA. But I just think that's when the real true maverick of Al Davis came out. The Mike Shanahan era brought it out because Al Davis really wanted to bring that West Coast offense into place. And Mike Shanahan was, he goes back to Bill Walsh. However, but he used Mike Shanahan as one of the best play callers at that time, implementing him in, which led to what, that led to Bronco fans in the future. You know, if the Broncos don't get Mike Shanahan later, Elway probably doesn't win a Super Bowl with that zone blocking scheme.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff. I know I'm kind of spinning around on this one because there's so much that goes involved with that. But yeah, your thoughts on that, you know, that era, man, of the, you know, I always like turn on the radio, like Al Davis versus the Rat. You know, I love that hype before a game, you know, so, fired him without pay, you name it.
Sidebar to the Davis family. I don't know if anyone saw his goofball son getting interviewed in Oakland saying, you know, is this emotional to you or not? And he goes, no, we've done this before.
I saw that.
And I was like, as much as I'm always going to bleed silver, as I really, really wish Al gave the team to another person. I mean, it's just, I don't know about Mark Davis. I don't know he's trying to be like his dad, but it's just not, he's not.
Because I don't know how true it is, but I was reading in the Oakland. It was an article. I think it was the Oakland Tribune or the East Bay Times where it said that Mark Davis had Las Vegas Raiders franchised in the 90s. Yeah, it was always his plan that if they never got a stadium in Oakland, we were going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to leave and go to Vegas anyway. I think he said he got that trademark in the 90s when they first came back. When they came back the second time.
Yeah. But, I mean, Al Davis versus Mike Shanahan was such a great thing, but I also think it kind of did hurt the Raiders a little bit.
It did, yeah.
Because, number one, could he have done what he did with the Broncos with us? But then again, you can't defy the Godfather. I mean, that's Al Davis. He is the Raiders. I mean, he doesn't own another company. He made his money with the Oakland Raiders and even with Los Angeles Raiders, whatever. But still, he was such a smart mind, and he just, for some reason, Mike Shanahan didn't want to give in to, you know what, Al, you might be right about a couple of these things, because he didn't. Who would want to do that? You know, as a coach, especially as a young coach. An older coach would be like, you know what, you know, because you can even see with John Gruden, he's keeping the same as he used to always do, and it's working somewhat, you know, but there will be adjustments. But like Mike Shanahan, the thing with him is I think he came into the situation saying, I'm going to tell this guy the way I want to run it because I came from this. And Al Davis probably just looked at him and said, no fucking way. Like this is how the Raiders are right now. Because then it worked. Yeah. His game plan, it worked. You know, if you ever watch the really good DVD, like the 3-piece DVD set, the NFL produced, it was like him in the 70s saying there's 3 things to the Raiders: throw the ball deep, get to the quarterback, and take advantage of mistakes. And Mike Shanahan doesn't run his football teams like that. He never did. You know, it was just the way that he wanted it to be. You know, and I'm glad that Mike Shanahan was never the Raiders coach, because I don't think they would have been as much of the Raiders as we would have wanted.
Yep.
You know, it's just like if you think back to his teams, they weren't like mean or gritty. They won, but if they faced a team that could beat the tar out of them, they lost.
Yep.
You know,
when he was with the Redskins.
Yeah, no, and I will always, always, always say that Al Davis won that, because he's still with the Raiders. He's still, you know what I'm saying? And this guy's dressing up like him in Halloween's because he's jealous.
Yeah, it was bitter. It was bitter, man.
He wanted to be a Raider, and that's why he was so upset. So in a way, Al Davis was kind of like, you know what? Even if we go behind the 8 ball, who cares? This guy's going to always pine to be a Raider. You know.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it.
I just think it was such a defining moment for our future, because we did go through a coaching carousel after that. It led to a lot of things, but compared to what we're going into now, we got Gruden on a 10-year contract. A lot of people bitch about that, you know, because not everybody's bought into Gruden, but I think that's important, having Gruden for 10 years, because we need that continuity, man, and that's what kind of got away. But that was a defining moment, because I think Shanahan replaced Tom Flores at that time, and then, you know, and that West Coast offense was so big, because BYU was, you know, the big West Coast offense college team, and then they implemented that with the Niners with Bill Walsh, and it was just such a crazy for what we see in today's game, because you look at today's play callers like Andy Reid running that West Coast offense. He's on a different level. He does some crazy shit in the West Coast offense. With what Gruden's doing right now, I think we see that vanilla play calling, but I still think even in this second year, Gruden and his coaching staff are still implementing a system as we speak, so I'm real curious to see how this translates in the next decade, seeing how that evolved all through the 80s and then now how it relates to the football that we watch, so.
And we got to remember with Gruden, we have him for 10 years. This is only year 2 of 10. This is technically year 1 of the rebuild year. So we haven't even got a chance to see the finished product of what he can turn his franchise into. Yeah, it's sad that it's not going to happen in Oakland, but it's still going to happen for the Raiders. Yeah. That's why it's called Raider Nation.
Yeah,
look,
baby.
We're everywhere. We're everywhere. I'm in California. He's in Colorado. It's the nation. So I think within the next, exactly nation. So I think within the next two years we'll be fine. I've already called it. You heard it here from me. We're live. 2020, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to win the AFC West.
Yeah, baby.
And I said that after watching our defense hold Patrick Mahomes to only 175 passing yards. That game would make me mad because what if our offense could have produced and we put points on the board? What if that same thing happens next year where we hold them to 175 passing yards or less, but this time we have points on the board to where we can win those type of games because that's what's going to come down to next year. We can see with the roster that we have, we can hold the Chargers. We can hold Denver. Our focus next year is going to be to win the AFC West and to contain Kansas City.
Yep. And I agree 100%, Zerko. 100%, man. Put that mentality. We see the foundation laid out right now. The mentality is next. Go win. Yeah. Go win. Go win that West. Believe that you can win that. And if you finish this game in Denver with a victory tomorrow, you're 4-2 in the division going into the offseason.
Exactly.
You're riding a 2-game winning streak. You win week 1. You're on a 3-game winning streak.
And who are the 2 losses in the division too?
KC.
And
we just don't match up against them. We just don't match up well against them. But once those adjustments, you got a whole offseason to see what you did wrong. We did this wrong. We did that wrong. Derek Carr, I'm going to use a word. It's time to nut up. It's time to nut up. And that basically means
big boy pants on.
Don't be a pussy out there. Nut up and go don't worry about what the media is going to say. Fire a pass in the middle of a defense, attack a defense, and quit playing safe like you're going to get the win playing safe because the more the aggressive team, tends to be the victorious team and go a long way in this league,
I mean, because if you worry about what the media say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna wrap it up here. You finished.
Sorry,
the last statement
sorry, man. I got fired up. We got a little fired up, baby.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, no, I was just gonna say that the Mike Shanahan Al Davis rivalry was legit. I mean, Al Davis was always talking to Bronco fans on the sidelines, trying to recruit players. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, Mike Shanahan had, I think it was John Elway, or the quarterback at the time, throw a football and, get real close to hitting Al Davis just to try to prove a point. Mike Shanahan's record was I don't have the stats in front of me, but he didn't lose a lot against the Raiders, man. He really dominated us for a long time. And in my opinion, I mean, I'm thankful that he didn't come back to the Broncos, but the stupidest thing the Broncos ever did was not bring Mike Shanahan back.
Yep. I said that when they let him go. I said that was stupid.
Beef or something with Mike Shanahan, but that guy was a great football mind, and he was if you guys don't know, I mean, our enemy, I mean, they almost always had a top running game, almost always like 1,000-yard running back. Every year when we would play them, so he would turn guys that weren't the, high draft pick, running backs into being great running backs, and really good running backs. He found a way to really just kick our ass every time, man. It just made me hate him so much more, dude. Besides living in areas where there's a lot of Bronco fans and whatnot. It wasn't until I moved to Cali and lived there for 10 years where I was like, dude, there's other Raider fans around. You know what I mean? Being, when I was younger, whatever. So. But anyways, but
last take on the rat though, Gary Kubiak still, dude, is still in that mix because Gary Kubiak was his right-hand man for a while, Elway's backup. So I didn't like Gary Kubiak's return because I had a funny feeling they would get it done and win the Super Bowl. But yeah, man, the rat, all time, that led to the hate in this rivalry. I think the real true hate that we're talking about.
Hell yeah. Let's give a shout out to the chat real quick. We got in here, man. What's up, brother? Ryan Miller, Sam A still up in here, man. Appreciate you guys for sticking around. Town Business. I know Blake was up in here, man. Just wanted to give a shout out to Blake. Who else? Oregon Poop, Mr. Wombat, Miguel, 517 Way of Life, And anybody, if I missed you guys, man, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. And make sure you guys get out the word, man. Sub to the channel. And speaking of Al Davis recruiting some, some previous donkeys, man, what do you got for us, Dave?
Bill Romanowski, baby. Bill
Oh.
Romanowski embraces this Raider culture. You know what I'm saying? He embraces the nation. And you know what? I'm going to give the fans, us fans, that credit, man, because Romanowski, when he joined the Raiders, he said he always wanted to be a Raider when he went in that Coliseum, and he fed off the fans in the crowd, the pregame warm-ups, the shit being thrown on the field, the words being said to players. You know, that, man, how that man played a season and a half, I think, for us. If that did even the second year was even playing for us, because I know he didn't get out of training camp with socking up Marquise Williams, I think, in special teams, caved in his eye socket, you know. And but at the same time, you know, this man embraces the culture, and that's what means the most to me. And that's why I think we embrace Romanowski as a Raider. You know, he has radio that he does for the Raider Nation. You name it, he's a part of it. He's influenced. You see him. So yeah, I don't have a Romanowski jersey. I do need to get one, but that was one of probably the most evil linebackers I ever watched, man. Going back to when he played for Philadelphia Eagles, his days with the Niners, his days with the Broncos. I remember when he hit Gannon in a Bronco game. He flew over the line and hit Gannon. And I'm like, damn, that guy's nasty, man. And but yeah, no, Romanowski, man, and his tenure as a Raider. You guys give me your thoughts, but you know, I mean, like I said, Romanowski, man, I'm just thrilled. Like, I just think that speaks volumes for our fan base and what we represent, the energy that we bring. You know, you have an NFL player that fed off that guy who won Super Bowls with other teams. You know, I mean, 2 Super Bowls with the Broncos, 2 Super Bowls with the Niners, yet he embraces the Raider culture. And I just think that speaks volumes for our fan base, our character, what we bring. You guys know how it is when we go to a game. We're family, man. And Romanowski embraces that, man. And so I just think that's something, you know, that it's a good piece of our history, man, you know?
Hell yeah. Raider Zerko, man. Why do you think Bill Romanowski is more of a Raider than a Bronco, man? Why do you think he claims Raiders as opposed to Broncos, even though he won 2 Super Bowls with the Donkeys?
Look at us. We're a nation. We're family. When you're inside that circle, when you're inside that Coliseum, you have 65,000+ family members. So we got your back.
Yeah.
We got your back for sure. So don't trip. We gonna hold you. And it's this organization. Yeah, we don't win a lot of games. We haven't. We know, but we're a family. It's something about being an Oakland Raider that people love to do. Look at Louis Riddick with ESPN. That's all he talks about is his days with the Raiders. People don't even know he played for other teams, but he talks about his days with the Raiders. Michael Vick, he listed the Coliseum as one of the top 5 places he don't want to play. Deion Sanders, he did an interview a couple of weeks ago on NFL Network. Don't go to the black hole. The crowd, the team, the defense feeds off that energy. It's something about this organization that when players come here, they just love it. They love us. They love to play for it. And Al Davis, he wasn't just an owner. He was a people's person. That's why I kind of didn't like him, because when he made draft picks, he picked with his pride, and sometimes not for talent. He treated everybody as family. So it's something about us as the fans that these players love when you go to these games out here. That's why it's going to be missed. It's not going to be the same, but Bill fed off that. He fed off the energy from the black hole. Not just the black hole, but he fed off his 65,000 family members that's watching him wear number 53 in a Raider jersey. He fed off that energy. Because when that stadium isn't sold out, it sounds sold out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So they fed off that. So that's the only thing I could think of why he cherished the Raiders more than he did the Broncos, even though he won with that team.
Hell yeah, Big Tuna, man. Thoughts on
the worst thing for Romanowski is he was born in the wrong era. Because if he was born and was playing with Stabler and all those guys, he'd probably be a Hall of Famer. Because just like the way that he played football was just not the way the NFL wanted you to play football anymore. And like, well, I forgot who was saying it, but like he's won a Super Bowl with the Niners, won Super Bowls with the Broncos, only played a year and a half with the Raiders, and that's what he does for a living now, is he analyzes the Raiders. And I don't know what channel it is, because obviously I'm in New York, but where he does like a pep talk to them at the end of every game.
Yeah.
It just shows that, like you were saying, Zerko, if they are a Raider for any time, They always talk about it because especially if they play a regular season game, or you know what, even a preseason game in Oakland, they are very highly respected. They'll just like when I forgot who it was, but someone signed with the Raiders and everyone showed up just to watch him walk in to sign his paper. It's just like that kind of stuff makes us different. And Romanowski, as awesome as he was, it's just you watch him and you're like, man, I wish he played when they were a little bit looser with the rules, because he would have been just an absolute monster. But my biggest memory of him was the eye socket thing. I mean, I know.
Oh my God! Yeah,
dude, he wailed on him too.
Yeah,
he wailed on him, man.
And it's just like that shows that people see that as he's an asshole. To me, it's that he's competitive. Like he's going 110% no matter what time of the year it is, and that's the way he played for the Raiders. I mean, he played 110% regardless. Even if the team was losing by 20. He made sure to lay a couple hits down to say, next time you see us, I'll be right here.
Pumping fear in the opponents. That's what he
did. Like I said, unfortunately, my favorite of him was when he hurt another Raider. But still, I mean, that's just something he's legendary for the Raiders because of who he is. He's just a nightmare of a person, but he's perfect for the Oakland Raiders.
Plus, he took out Shannon Sharp twice that 2002 year. Twice. They're showing the replays where he clipped his elbow. It was that was an actually very innovative, I should say, clever move. That showed some clever. He had some wit on that one to clip him and then just bam, your elbow's out. You're done.
No one
You're
gives
gone.
any respect about how smart he is in the NFL. They just think he's a goon, and kind of like they do to Burfitt. You know what I mean? Burfitt is actually a really good middle linebacker.
He reminds me
he
of
played out here in
Bill.
Riverside, man.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is that he's so good, but the problem is, once again, the way the NFL is now, he can't survive in this type of league. Yep. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I hope they bring him back because you need that leader, but it's just the way the league is now. He just can't succeed.
I was watching your channel. I'm sorry, Mike, but I was watching his channel. I think you said something about the middle linebacker is non-existent now.
Yeah, there's no middle
and that's a great point, man.
There's no, and in college, it's whoever's the best linebacker. Because like even when you think about tonight's game, Ohio State, Chase Young is their quarterback. He's a defensive end.
Yep.
I mean, it's just whoever is the smartest or the most flashy. There's no one out there really learning how to call a game. Even you would say Alabama, but not really, because their middle linebackers have been bust, and not just Rolando McClain. There's been a bunch of them that have come out since him that were very highly touted, but they did nothing in the NFL. Yep. And it's really tough to find that sort of thing. And it's kind of just like what happened with the running back position. Like, it's not as highly regarded as a wide receiver now. And I think, an edge rusher or an outside linebacker is more important than a middle linebacker, that true captain that you have, because they're not doing it in college. So how the hell are you going to teach anybody?
Yep. One thing though, we did see a little bit last week with Compton though. He had the green dot. He played but we can't feed off. I can't feed off of that though, because I don't know how that's going to evolve for the future. But sorry, I didn't mean to keep rambling.
All right, so let's move on. Let me give my closing statement, and then let's move on here. So those are all great topics, man. This is a great off-season stuff that we'll get into. But the middle linebacker position has definitely changed. But all right, so the point is like, there's certain people that were born to be a Raider. You know what I'm saying? The Lyle Alzado, Willie Brown, and then, of course, Bill Romanowski, dude. All those guys are previous Broncos, but what do you remember them for? I mean, Bill Romanowski, yeah, he didn't have enough time with us, but here's the thing with Bill Romanowski, man, is like when I went to the Donkey game last year, okay, people would sign a little bit of autographs here and there, not too many. But most of them would only go about 5 deep on the line, where the locker room was at. Bill Romanowski went all the way the Raiders line, dude, with Raider fans signing, autographs. And it fucking sucked, dude. It actually pissed me off because, like, Raider fans, we were being cool, dude. We weren't starting shit with anybody. There wasn't anybody hardly in the stadium, And then the security guy, we'd been there maybe a half hour, before the game. And, like, the seats weren't filling up yet. It wasn't like we were intruding in people's space. But this is security guy's like, if you don't have seats, you guys got to go. And I missed Bill Romanowski's autograph by, like, maybe 45 seconds.
Dang.
Bill Romanowski went all the way down the line, dude, signing autographs. Guess who he wasn't signing autographs for? He wasn't on the donkey sideline. He didn't sign any Bronco fans' autographs. He was on the Raider Nation side. He was with us. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, if that don't show anything, man, I mean, that motherfucker's a Raider. He was a Raider before he was a Raider, just like Perfect was a Raider before he was a Raider, just like Richie Incognito was a Raider. There's certain guys that you know that guy's a Raider. He was born to be a Raider. He may not be bleeding our colors yet, but he needs to be a Raider, you know? And I kind of thought the same about Dominican Sue, but, you know, he didn't want to be a Raider, so fuck him. So that's how
He screwed us twice.
Then you against us. But, all right, let's get into these this donkey game, man, and the Raiders. And let's talk about how important is this game for the Raiders and Derek Carr's future. You know, I don't want to go down the Derek Carr rabbit hole too much because we beat that thing to a bloody pulp and ran over it like 10 times. But, you know, just talk about the importance of this game and what you guys think, you know, this means, you know, to let me pull up a banner here. About this game, what it means to the Raiders, to Derek Carr. You know, obviously last week we had some things have to happen for us to still be in playoff contention. And those things were we had to have the Ravens beat the Browns, the Saints beat the Titans, the Colts beat the Panthers, and then Jets beat the Steelers, which is crazy. I would have thought the Jets would beat the Steelers. And then, of course, Raiders beat the Chargers. So all that happened. The stars aligned, dude, man. And we still got a chance at this. So I didn't update this. Let me do something here real quick. But, you know, so like going into this game and whatnot, you know, I was just thinking about, you know, if somehow we could pull off this win, what would this mean to the Raiders, to Raider Nation, and, you know, moving forward, just kind of what this game would mean to all of us, dude. Like, I'm not concerned about draft picks or anything. I'm worried about what has to happen right now, this weekend, and what Derek Carr has to do. You know, and if this game is important to Derek Carr and his future to the Raiders. So for us to have a shot at the playoffs, it's on the screen here. Colts got to beat the Jags. Ravens got to beat the Steelers. Texans got to beat the Titans. Raiders got to beat the Broncos. And then we need we need either Chargers or Chiefs. Chargers versus Chiefs, Chargers to win. Packers versus Lions, Lions to win. Bears versus Vikings, Bears to win, or Dolphins versus Patriots and Patriots to win. The only one that I see that's going to happen out of that the strength of schedule one that I just listed is the Patriots and Dolphins. It's in the Patriots Stadium. And, you know, like, I don't think the Chargers are beating the Chiefs. I don't think the Lions are going to beat the Packers, even though that's a home game for them. And I don't think the Bears are going to beat the Vikings. So, you know, with that long-winded, you know, intro goes, you know, what do you guys think about this game, the importance of it, and Derek Carr, man? Let's start with Raider Zerko on this one, man, and just your thoughts on this game and Derek Carr's future and how important this game might be.
Well, I think Derek Carr needs to go out there like he did last week. Show us that you could throw the ball. Show us that you can move around in that pocket and put the ball where it needs to be. I think that winning this game isn't just, you know, good, we won, you know, we got the W. Winning this game is letting us fans know that we're still fighting for y'all. With all the moving pieces we've had on offense, all the moving pieces we've had on defense, we're still here. Because let's keep it real. Nobody expected the Raiders to be in the position that they're in. Nobody had the Raiders winning 7 games in week 17, still fighting for a chance to be a wild card team in the playoffs this year. So they need to go out there, take care of business tomorrow, let the fans know, and that we still here. We're still fighting to make the playoffs one last time. And Derek Carr needs to go out there and let us know, like, I'm still your quarterback. I'm still going to be the guy that come 2020 or maybe and beyond that I'm going to be here. So he needs to have one of those type of games.
Yep. Hell yeah. And any thoughts on, like, potential playoff? You know, I know it's still a long shot, but just any take on, you know, kind of what
if everybody go out there and take care of business, these games I expect the coach to beat the Jags. I mean, the Ravens, they're playing with a 4th-string. The Steelers, they're playing with the 4th-string quarterback. I expect them to go out there and handle business. The game that concerns me the most is the Texans. As talented as that team is, they can still lose to the Titans. Because the Titans they're fighting for a playoff spot also. Because if Pittsburgh loses and we lose, Titans have got the wild card spot. So I expect everybody on this list to go out there and handle business. I expect New England to win. That's the only strength of schedule victory that I was hoping to happen. New England win. If we win, let's go out there and handle our business first. Let's worry about these other 3 games later. But I expect the Ravens to beat the Steelers. The Steelers are on the fourth quarterback. I don't expect them to win.
Hell yeah. Raider Dave, man, give me your thoughts on this, brother.
I agree with Zerko, man. Big game for Carr. Close it out the way you did, the way you played in LA last week, the way you played last week. If you can put that performance together in Denver, get that win as well, you're clearing your mental state in the offseason. You know, the media is going to come after you with, are you going to be the future Raiders quarterback? Yada, yada, yada. For Derek Carr's standpoint, for his own good, get this win, put together the performance you had last week. Now, as far as what this means to me as a fan, like, I don't want to see this team finish 7-9. That's another losing season. Mm-hmm. You put together an 8-8 season, we can't call it a losing season. And if you do make the playoffs, woo, you know, there's a different momentum that kicks in and a different gear. You know, who knows what wakes up in that locker room, because the playoffs is anybody's guess, man. Once you're in the tournament, once you're at the dance, we'll see how you shine, you know. And I think that was in the comments. That's my goal, is that if it does line up, they get in the playoffs, I want the Chiefs, man. Third's a charm. We've matched up horribly against them in 2 games. This is a key game for our coaches, man. Even if we don't get that win in Kansas City in the playoffs, we get that to see what we're doing wrong against this team. Why is Andy Reid has mastered that West Coast offense? I can't deny what he's done. I mean, you got these guys that have taken over, like Sean Payton, Mike McCarthy for a little bit there. He's not coaching anymore, but who's another big one in the NFL? You got Andy Reid, Sean Payton, mastering that West Coast offense. We want to see Gruden. That's what Gruden's here for, to elevate that. You know, he went away from the, coaching and in the booth, getting that broader look on how things are done. He's got Mayock in his corner, scouting players. But at the same time, I want to see how I want to see that opportunity. If it aligns, I want to see that opportunity in KC, our coaching staff matching up against Andy Reid and what that could bring, man. And but yeah, whole different. The key for me though is don't finish 7-9. Even if we were expected to do worse, it just puts another losing record on our resume. And I would rather close out something here, finishing as the Oakland Raiders as, a nice piece of history, man, to ride into the new era,
So, obviously I'm all on your side about it, but I'm a stats guy. I've always been a numbers guy. So, in a way, the way that Denver's defense is, especially at home, I think they should game plan for Derek Carr not to be a huge part of it, only because Denver's defense is like last in the league with time spent on the field. And so they're fourth in the league at home against the pass. They're 23rd in the league against the run. So I think it should be a lot of boring-ass offense by the Raiders. Keep them on the field. You know what I'm saying? Just run the shit out of the ball, and then when you need someone to make a play, look at 83. I think if the Raiders keep it very simple, and I don't see Derek Carr having a great game just because I don't think they're game planning for it. You never know. You never know. That's just the way football is. But if they look at what I've looked at, in that their defense played well last week, but notoriously we are like the worst defense on the road in the league.
Yeah, man.
But it's just, and we're not scoring much on the road either. I think we're 26th in the league in scoring. But you know what? Even if all those scenarios don't happen, I think that the Raiders do have the mentality of, you know what, we need just to prove that we can go 8-8, to prove that we don't have a losing season. Because, I'm a big gambler too, so I always look at the over-unders on the wins, and the Raiders were at 3 in the beginning of the year. So for them to be at 7 or 8 is great. But I think the Achilles heel for this game is keeping Denver's defense on the field, because not many people are talking about it, but Drew Lock, the rookie out of Missouri,
he's nice.
The last 4 games, he's 3-1.
Yep.
He lost to the Chiefs. They only scored 3 points. But other than that, I think the least amount of points he scored was 24. And he might be the answer for the Broncos, which is good for the Broncos. They've been trying to find a quarterback for the last 3-4 years. But I think if we just run the ball very easily, Just, you know what I'm saying? DeAndre Washington should have 25 carries. You know, Jalen Richard scares me a little bit, but maybe him getting the ball to 10, it just should be a very boring game. But if we run a boring game, that means we're going to win because the defense is going to be – they're good against the pass. They are. They're very good against the pass with Chris Harris, but they're not very good against the run. So it's like, then just run the ball, because we've done it before, and we can play off the play action and get a couple guys over the top. I just think, unfortunately, as much – as it's a great game, we're all looking forward to it. If the Raiders play it right, it might not be that fun to watch, but you'll get a W in the end if you just keep it severely and so simple that don't overthink it. If you need to make an adjustment at halftime, do it. But if they just play a kind of run and maybe get over the top here or there, they can easily win the game just because their defense is notorious for staying on the field almost 60% of the time. So it's just something where long drives are important.
Yes.
And they should run it like Army and Navy do in college, where they hold the ball, 38 minutes out of the 45. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Ball control and
just
the second.
Yeah, right. All control and keep it simple and keep that defense on the field. Obviously, without Trent Brown, it's going to be a little bit harder against either Chubb or Miller.
Yeah.
Still, if you take a sack here or there, you're not going to get long drives every drive. Other than that, keep it simple. And I just don't think Derek Carr is going to shine because they're not going to – it's not in the game plan. The game plan is to keep it very simple and keep them on the field because they're notorious for staying on the field at home. It's just, 35 minutes out of 60, that's a long time to stay on the field.
Yeah, that's tiring. That's tiring.
And it helps our defense more because –
elevation.
Even though our defense is not very good, if you don't give them any time to, to take a breath, they're going to be even worse. So it's just something where keep it simple, easy enough, probably win 17-20. Something.
What you said,
close, but they'll still win.
What you said reminded me of our second half against the Chargers, how we came out. We came out aggressive, but to me that was boring. It was a straight running the ball the whole second. We came out in the second half, killing the clock. So I think that needs to be the same mindset going into Denver. Boring, make it a boring game. Run the ball. It's going to be cold out there. Let Washington get about 25 carries. You moved Hunter Renfrow to kick return, so that should free up Jalen Richard also to maybe get a couple passes out the backfield as well. Yeah. Maybe give him about 10 touches. I think the running game, they should have about 40 touches between the two of them. Like you said, make it a long and boring game for the defense. That's all.
And the Raiders aren't really that bad on offense away from home. They're like middle of the road, which looking at the record, it seems like they shouldn't be, but they are. They're actually not that bad away from home.
And you got these key rookie matchups too, man. On the defensive side, I mean, we got Trayvon Mullen, who's supposed to play, rookie with a lot of upside. He's shown us he can do, you thought he was a zone corner? No, this guy's actually could evolve into Mullen Island right here. He's showing it, and he can break, and he's good at reading the quarterback's eyes. Here's a key thing. We got a rookie quarterback in Drew Lock. We'll see how Mullen reacts, to what he's looking at on the field. I mean, he's got a great receiver in Cortland Sutton to get the football to. I'm real impressed with him. But we also got our two edge guys, man, in Cleveland Farrell and Max Crosby getting after the rookie. So I'm still intrigued to see how our rookies react in the last game. What type of energy do they bring in a full 16 game, on the road in Denver in Mile High? This is going to be some of their first games in Mile High in that atmosphere. You know what I mean? So it's going to be real intriguing. But I agree, man. Boring football, smash mouth football, long sustained drives. We had them last year. We lost by a point. I mean, if Bruce Irvin doesn't give up on that final drive, we might be on a chasing a 4-game winning streak versus the Broncos right now. Yeah. And that's another thing. We've lost 3 straight in Denver. I believe it's 3 straight we've lost in Denver. Yeah. But we're also riding a 3-game winning streak. So of course, build off the winning streak, man. And like I said, clear some minds going into the offseason. A lot of, we got hype. We started out 6-4, beat the Bears, all that stuff. A lot of momentum was building amongst us fans. There's still a lot more momentum to build into the offseason, with a victory, man.
I can see the middle of the defensive line having a big game too against Locke because you've got those two coming on the other side. But I think one of our best position in the Raiders is our interior defensive lineman with
Hurst. Mo Hurst has been ridiculously crazy this year. He's been great.
Is probably going to be one of the rookies that John Gruden drafted to get the first extension because he's unreal. And he got picked in the 5th round, so I don't know how many years he's got. So
he was a steal. Out of Michigan, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's where he had the heart surgery, so nobody wanted him.
That's where they dropped him. Yeah. We got lucky.
Hey, I just seen our future quarterback on the TV screen, Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts.
Hey, you know I like Hurts, man. I do like Hurts.
Hold on, we're gonna trade up in the second. I think we're gonna trade up in the second round to get that dude.
You're not gonna have to. You're not gonna have to. He's gonna be there.
He's gonna be there, man.
But hey, I just thought I'd throw that out there before I go in my little rant here.
But that's my guy because I love
Hurts, man.
He's taken two top schools to 3 different championships.
Yeah.
Twice in Alabama, once in Oklahoma. You can't deny that man. You can't.
He's got leadership too, man. That's what I like about him. He's got the leadership. He's got the it factor. Some people will knock his size, you name it. But if I could say one thing about these quarterbacks, I do like them all right now. I like all of them, man.
Hey, dude, take your pick.
I know.
As far as I'm concerned, the first person that does Raider content that started talking about Jalen Hurts coming to the Raiders is Q from Locked On Raiders. So
right on.
Give a mad shout out to Q, man, because he's been beating the drum, and I'm watching, dude. I heard it, man, and I'm going to be watching today, dude. That's for sure.
And if we don't take a quarterback this year, I know Ohio State has a history of bad quarterbacks, but keep y'all eyes on Justin Fields. Remember, he's only a sophomore with 3 interceptions this year, and he's one of the top 5 most accurate throwing quarterbacks this year in college.
Definitely, man. Well, there's some bowl games today, so you guys definitely be checking that out, and we'll be talking about it in the off season, man. It's gonna be interesting to see, kind of everybody's takes and the direction people want to go. But this game is huge. I mean, we always talk about this is the biggest game. There was like the Chiefs game. That was the biggest game of the year. The Bears game was the biggest game. And I do think the Bears game was like a must win for us to shut up the hate and quiet some of that. But without a shadow of a doubt, this is the most important game of the year. You know what I mean? Not just because the potential chances for us to make the playoffs and whatnot, and the strength of schedule stuff that has to happen. I mean, all the games that are going to happen that we need to win, they're playing at the exact same time that the Raiders are playing. This game to me is a game that is a statement game for all the players that want to be on the team next year. A statement game for Derek Carr. If he wants to be on the team, because let's face it, dude, and we'll get it in the offseason, but, we never know if Gruden might pull a Mac and trade him for a 3rd-round pick or something, dude. We don't know. Gruden's proven all of us wrong at times, I'm sure, to pull out a left field, draft Clelin Ferrell or whatever. Maybe that was Mayock. I don't know. But, anybody that kids himself and thinks that Gruden won't do some crazy-ass shit, dude, I mean, he's playing chess and we're playing checkers, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, the point is Derek Carr has to bring it this game. We fizzled out after being 6-4. Maybe we should have been 6-4, depending on people's opinions. It doesn't matter. We were 6-4. We had at least 2 of those 4 games that we could have and should have won. If the Raiders don't win this game and we end the season at 7-9, to me, that's a failure. Okay. Yes. Anything less than 8-8 is unacceptable. It's not commitment to mediocrity. It's commitment to excellence. They want to be excellent. Carr wants to be excellent. He wants to own a house next to Gruden and fucking sing Kumbaya, barbecuing together. Well, then do it this fucking game, dude. No excuses. I don't care what has to happen. I don't care what you have to do. I believe it was Sam was in the chat. He was saying something about Carr running the football 10 times, dude. That's a good take, dude. Sam, I could see that happening. That should actually happen. It's going to be cold. The wide receivers are not going to want to catch the ball. They're going to have a case of the dropsies, man, because they're California West Coast teams, and it's just harder in cold weather games, man. It might be a little windy. So we have to do something to bring out the best in these players, man. We got to get that run game going. We got to get maybe some short dump-off passes going. For those of you that don't know, Daniel Carlson, our kicker, he's from Colorado Springs, where I live, which is like an hour south of Denver or whatnot. Well, Daniel Carlson, I do construction. I work on a house, and like one of our customers is actually like really good friends with Daniel Carlson and grew up like with him in that neighborhood and shit, dude. So You know what we need? It's high elevation, dude. We need to come back from Derek Carr. We need to come back from Daniel Carlson. Daniel Carlson's going to kick the game-winning field goal, man.
Nice.
24-21, Raiders win this shit.
Yeah.
And the stars align. And guess what? We're going to the fucking playoffs, man. I don't care if we're one and done in the playoffs. I don't care.
Yeah.
We got to end this
Just
right.
get there.
For Oakland. This is for the Raider Nation. And if you don't win this game, you know what? Let's just face it. The reality is, even though we're diehard, we bleed silver and black, we may not want to go fill up that stadium as much. I may not want to go spend $2,000 whatever dollars to go to a fucking game. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is a new stadium. If you win this game, you give us a playoff spot, you build that momentum, and we build this shit moving forward, man. We end it right. We don't end it on a low note. We end it on a high note. And Broncos, they only hate one fucking team, Raider Nation. They hate one fucking team more than any other team. And it's the Raiders right here. It's time to step the fuck up for this whole team. I don't care if half the team is injured. This is it right now. Everything's on the line. There is no tomorrow. This is it, Raider Nation.
And I think you hit it right on the money when you were speaking, when you were saying that Carr needs to run the ball. I think Gruden needs to draw up plays. We saw him do that with the Jacksonville game when the Reds fucked us. A big fuck you again to Oakland. And we saw that again with the Chargers game. The boy's not slow. You don't have to run. You can move around in the pocket. Watching him run against Jacksonville, watching him run that ball in against the Chargers, you're pretty fast, Derek Carr. Even after coming back from a broken leg, you're pretty fast. I think Gruden needs to drop some play-action plays to get him moving, to get that defense moving, so they won't know what's predictable. They don't know now. You don't know who running the ball. You don't know if DC gonna run. You don't know if Jalen gonna run. You don't know if Washington gonna run. You don't know what's going to happen. So I think this game Gruden does need to get a little creative and let Carr, maybe run for about 4 or 5 yards out the pocket.
Well, and not just that. One quick last point is, we have not seen 4 quarters of football yet to date with this team. Maybe last week a little bit. But Gruden got way too conservative towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Run. Dude, there was times where I'm like, dude, pass on first down. I guarantee if you do a play action pass on first down and you go deep, dude, we will get a touchdown right here. They didn't do it. We have to be creative. We have to play 4 quarters of football. There's only 2 games this whole season that you might be able to say we almost played 4 quarters of football. This is going to be a grind, dude. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be cold. And if these motherfuckers aren't doing jumping jacks on the sideline, dude, keeping their bodies warm, it's going to be a tough go, man. They got to keep that energy, keep that fight, man.
Yeah, and like with Derek Carr, take what the defense gives you. Don't take the sack. Stop taking the sacks. You're not a rookie anymore. And stop throwing the football away. I know that's the veteran move that sometimes coaches want their quarter. But in this case with Derek Carr, we want to see less a conservative play, more aggressive. So once again, the defense, there's always something open on the field. One thing we need to understand with this game, man, there's always a void on the field. There's an opening, an open receiver. Not always an opening receiver, but there's always a field of play where there's an opportunity to make a play, whether it's 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, but I just don't want to be, because I went to that Tennessee game, man, and that's where I usually don't focus on quarterbacks. I'm a cornerback safety guy. I like watching corners and safeties play the game, but I really keyed in on Derek Carr, man, and his footwork in the pocket, and there was times I felt like he took sacks when he didn't need to, like he stepped into the sack almost, like he felt it and immediately took it, and it's like you want to kind of see him, let's make a play here, man. That was a must-win game. These are must-win games. This is still a must-win game. So, take what they give you.
We got to handle our business this week and let the chips fall where they may. Because let's just say we go out there, we win the game, and everybody wins, and here comes Tennessee losing. At the end of the day, Raider Nation, we can say our team did what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Derek Carr went out to this is basically a job interview for Derek Carr. This is your job interview.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is your job interview. Week 17.
And throw in DeAndre Washington, Jalen Richard, man. DeAndre Washington, I hope we re-sign him, man. But, if he gets 25 carries and can do what he's done each time he's filled in for Josh Jacobs, he performed against Tennessee. He performed against the Chargers. And DeAndre Washington has that he runs with attitude, man. He does have that attitude when he runs the football. He's not as crisp as like a Josh Jacobs, with vision, but he does have the ability to cut back and forth in between the tackles, and he can get those tough yards, and that's going to be big time needed, as Tuna had pointed out. That's big time on these road games, especially playing in elevation. You want your offensive line blocking downhill a lot in this game. So whatever opportunities the defense presents itself, we got to take advantage of it, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, this last segment, man, is the Holy Roller segment. It's kind of like a bold prediction, but I just gave mine, dude. Stars are going to line. Colts are beating the Jags. Ravens beating the Steelers. Texans beating the Titans. Raiders beating the Donkeys. And the Patriots are going to beat the Dolphins. And we're going to go into the playoffs by strength of schedule, man. But what are your guys' Holy Rollers for this last segment here?
Raider Nation, we're going to the playoffs, baby. Despite all the frustrations we had this year, despite all the negative energy that was brought to us this year by Mr. Antonio Brown, who's still out there acting like a clown, look where we are today. Let's keep it real. The media with Antonio Brown only had us winning 4 or 5 games. They said Antonio Brown's going to give him an extra game or two, but he's not going to change much. He's not here. And what did we go out there and do game 1? We went out there game 1 and we showed the world we can do this without Antonio Brown. We went away from 5 weeks on the road, went out there, played against Chicago, who at the time had that top 3 defense. We showed the world what we can do. We went out there to Indiana, to their home, and we beat them, and we showed them what we can do. This team, we're good. We're moving in the right direction. Let's go out here, week 17, and let's get this victory, baby. Everybody, prediction time, everybody this week is going to handle their business. The Oakland Raiders is going to the playoff before they go to Vegas. Book it.
Bucket it. That's right, baby. Yeah. Hey, real quick, I'm going to zen it up. I got some incense for Christmas, man, in my stocking. Some got like all that superstitious spiritual vibe to it, man. I'm going to be zenning for the next couple days, hoping the stars align, and man, the key for this game, though, as long as everything aligns as far as going to the playoffs, the key for me is building, that momentum in the game. I'm going to say like what Max Crosby did last week. I felt like Max Crosby early on in the game last week set the tone for the defense. I know he didn't get a sack. He came up the middle. He came, as the pocket broke, he came up the middle and flushed Rivers back into a bad throw. And I think immediately, and I know this is a different quarterback and a rookie with Drew Lock, he immediately got inside of his head. And I think that's what led to that defense actually performing well last Sunday. So with that said, I'm going to bank on Max Crosby, Cleveland Farrell, getting up, pushing the pocket. Not only that, Cleveland Farrell, I know he's not getting the snaps that everybody's talked about. But he's getting effective snaps, which is key. But Cleveland Farrell at Clemson was a nice bull rushing edge guy. You know what I mean? And he showed us a little bit of that last week with that holding call and all that. So his power is showing up. If he can exploit, and I think are the Broncos missing their tackle in this game, Juwan. Yeah, so he's missing in this game, so that's an advantage. Just as last week, versus the Chargers. If we can get that early pressure, get that pressure on Drew Lock, I'm going to say it right now. Max Crosby gets a sack. Farrell gets a sack. I'm going to say Mullen gets tested, has a couple key pass deflections. I want to say a pick 6, but I'm not going to reach. I'm just going to say he gets a couple nice defended passes. Our defense shows up, keeps Denver in check. Another thing, I think we got to hit Philip Lindsay early in this game. We got to punch him in the face. Literally, this guy's bitter, man. This guy's feeding off last year's broken hand. I think he had a broken hand against us in that game, and he's pissed, and he's expressed it to the media. So that's a target right there. I want to see some pop. I want to see, like, Will Compton pop him, But I'm going to go with our defense on this game, man, shutting it down, holding the Denver Broncos to less than 17 or less points. And all we need to do is get up 20 points on the board, like you had mentioned earlier, 2017 victory. I'm with you. I'm on board with that. Daniel Carlson is a key factor. He's been sketchy at times. He's got to make the field goals, or extra points, you name it. Got to keep those points on the board. But at the same time, I'm going to put this one on our defense overall, setting the tone, getting off the field in time so they're not exhausted like versus the 1-point loss that we saw last year when Gruden called the game. And not only that, Keith Smith with the dropped 4th and 1, Alec Ingold steps in and gets us a key reception in this game, a key first down, and we build on that momentum, and we eke out of this thing with a win, and we start building a winning culture for the future, baby.
Hell yeah, Big Tuna, man. You holy roller, brother.
I think that Daniel Carlson is going to have a huge impact in this game.
Yep.
And I think that he's going to kick 2 or 3 over 45 yards. So I would say we end up winning like 24-20, but he gets 15 of those points. I don't think that works out math wise, but you know what I'm saying.
I know.
But maybe like 23-20, but I just think he's going to have, because I feel like the Raiders are going to get down to a certain point and then they're going to kind of stall, but he'll be right there. That air is so easy to kick through. The funny thing, favorite Raiders Broncos game, Monday Night Football Week 1, Janikowski had a 63-yarder in Denver. So I just got a feeling Daryl Carr, he's been such a hit or miss kind of guy. I think this game here is one where he actually helps the team out. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a high-flying game, but I think Daniel Carlson kicks 2 to 3 over 45 yards and probably will make 4 to 5 total field goals.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Love it, man. All right, guys, man. Everybody that's in the comments, give a quick shout out here, man. Captain Jack, man. Hey, what's up? Arr, dude, I love Captain Jack, man. You guys check out his channel, man. And Jack just came in here. Yeah, Jack, dude, we came on early today. I didn't have much time to let everybody know, but we did come on early because the bowl games for the college games, and we may have to adjust the schedule for playoffs, depending on what happens next week and whatnot. But yeah, we're kind of rotating accordingly, dude. I wanted to make sure everybody got to see our future quarterback. I mean, future wide receiver. Today,
and linebacker.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. There's guys we're going to be watching, looking out for. It's an exciting day for college football. I don't follow it a whole lot, but once it gets to the bowl games, I definitely check it out. But yeah, Fierce Raider, man. What's up, Jack? What's up? Sam's still in here. J-Dog. Jonathan, man. What's up? Dell Jr., what's up? Town Business. Mean, man. What's up? Everybody in here, man. Just appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hopefully everybody had a blessed Christmas. You guys have a good New Year. Get an Uber or a safe driver, man, for all that jazz. And, we're going to keep bringing it, dude. We're going to do a couple shows during the off season here and there. Nothing is crazy, every week, but we'll do some. And then next week, again, it's going to be a great show just like this week. But, we're going to have Q from Locked On Raiders. We're going to have Kenny from Pillaging Podcast. We're going to have Murph from Murph's Fan Cave. Me, of course. And then we're going to have the Violator, Wayne Mabry, dude. So,
oh, my God. That's huge
up,
right
man.
there.
And all of that, dude, is because of, first of all, the guys here right now, the WattsRaider, Raider Critique, Raider Cody, Kenny King, anybody that's came on and joined us, Captain Jack, that's joined us, Raider Dave, Big Tuna, Raider Zerko, everybody that's helping us and grow this platform. I just want to give a mad shout out, dude, because, what we're trying to bring here, man, is just, that unity, Raider Nation, So I'm really humbled with the great guests we have on here, but extremely grateful at the same time. So, Q from Locked On is going to be on here. So, again,
nice.
I don't deserve it. We don't deserve it, but, we're very humbled to have some great guests in the future, and Murph and Kenny and all those guys, man, Wayne Mabry, the Violator, just extremely humbled for them giving us the time to do a show together. And hopefully, we can do something down the road as well. That's what we're trying to build, so that way no one's locked in, for like permanent, kind of seat, but like something where we always rotate guests. That's what we're trying to bring here. So it's just a credit to everybody that's helped put in content. Raider Dave came up with some really great topics this show. Big Tuna and the stats, everybody, this platform is really a team unity. Even our chat and the people that tune in and chime in and stuff, dude. So this is just a great honor to have everybody on here and a huge blessing. It's a dream I had over a year ago. It was actually me and Dave, chopping it up. That's where it started, and it's just grown from there. So we're going to keep building it. So you guys help us out, man. Get the word out. But
that's right, Raider Nation.
That was my closing statement, just to say, this is it, Raider Nation, man. This is our last game, unless the stars align. And, we're just going to keep bringing that fire, keep being positive. And thank you guys for everybody for that tuned in. And thank you guys for coming in here. So Raider Dave, man, why don't you start out with an opening statement and let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
What's up, y'all? I appreciate that hardcore. Much love to you, man. The channel is awesome, bro. I enjoy as always, being on here. I love everybody here, man. Raider Zerko, man, it was a pleasure, man. Tuna, Tuna, I got a question, though. You got bets going down on this playoff scenario? I believe it's a 200-1 odds. If the Raiders were for this thing to shape up and them to win the AFC, I think it's 200-1 odds. Does that interest you, or does that get you laying down a little cash?
I think it's 500-1.
500 to 1. Is that what it was? Okay, cool. Because I could be off on my numbers, but
you can always put $5 on that.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, man. That's what I was gonna say. So I was just curious. Yeah. But yeah, man. You can check me out on GrimeCast, Raider Dave at GrimeCast. I've changed the name up. Like I said, I've made it hard. One thing is delivering a style and a content. Is what I aim for, is to give you a little bit different perspective, man. Like I said, I always enjoy a good conversation with Raider football. I get fired up. I like to ramble. I like to talk Raider football, man. But, and like I said, that's what we do. I'm sure everybody does that at work, talk everybody's ear off about what the Raiders are going to do this year, next year, you name it. So just once again, pleasure to be on here, man. I'm always fired up, man. I do look forward to today's game. So today we're going to fire up the grill as we always do. Tomorrow we're going to fire up the grill. We're going to watch these games, man. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy time with your family, man. That's what football to me is all about. It's you're putting everything aside, man. All your work life, your personal stuff, everything goes to the side, man, and you focus on family and good times, man. And that's what I build on, man. And it just builds great memories, man. It's crazy how much time went by, man. You look back and it's like, damn, we're going into 2020, man, here in a few days. Right. It's crazy. Another thing, man, I'm just blessed to be here, man. Be here on earth, man, and enjoy this experience in life, man. And, it's a beautiful thing, man. So looking forward to many more years to come. And not only that, very thankful that I did jump on the YouTube platform and get to know everybody, man, because it is an awesome group of people out here on the internet, man, where we can just congregate and take everybody from wherever you're at, man. You could be in another country, wherever you're at, we all come on this platform and we bring that same energy that you would feel at a Raider game here on this platform, man. So I'm honored to be here, man, and thankful to be a part of this as well, man. So much love, everybody.
Hell yeah, dude. I love you, brother, man. Thanks for coming in here and always
supporting
me, man, supporting us, dude, and the Raider Nation, of course. But Raider Zerko, man.
First off, Hardcore, thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast, man. I'm greatly appreciative of that. Tuna Dave, Big Tuna Dave. Thank you both also. It's been great, man. This is something that I always wanted to do, man. I know I'm not a content creator like you are, but it's in my future to one day start my own podcast and get things rolling. But I just wanted to first, see what it was like to join people who I know have experience in doing things like this. And I just want to thank y'all for welcoming me into, podcast family, for being on here. But, Raider Nation, keep your heads up. Keep them jerseys. Whatever Raider gear you have, you keep that, right? It's a Derek Carr jersey, whatever it is, because next year is our year. Like I said before, in 2020, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to win the AFC West. We're going there. So let's just keep this positive energy. Let's keep this positive vibe. We may not be where we want to be, but we're a step in the right direction. We're moving forward. We won 4 games last year. We're on the pace to win 7 or 8 this year. Nobody had us winning that many games, Raider Nation. So let's keep this positive energy. Let's keep these positive vibes. And let's keep pushing. We're looking forward to the future. Keep y'all trust in Gruden. Keep y'all trust in Mayock. Those two. Don't worry about Mark. We know Mark a little. Mark different. Mark is a special case. Mark is a special case. So trust the coach. Trust the GM. But again, thank y'all. I'm blessed to be here. Hopefully we can do this again. And to those of y'all who are watching, you don't want to miss his next podcast. I think you said January 4th, correct?
Yeah.
You don't want to miss it. I'm going to be for sure watching. There's going to be some great people on here. You don't want to miss it. Please make sure you guys are tuning in and you guys are watching January 4th. Make sure you guys watch this Oklahoma game because our wide receiver playing, our quarterback playing, and our linebackers playing on either team. You don't know what's going to happen with Joe Burrow. The guy may bless us and he may fall to us.
That would be the best. That would be man. If that could work out.
Don't know. Cincinnati got the number 1 pick. They may want to stick with Andy because he do put up numbers. He just ain't got the weapons to do it. But again, thank you, Hardcore. I'm greatly appreciative of this opportunity, man. Thank you.
Hey, no problem, man. You got a great football mind. I appreciate you for coming on as well as the other guys. And we'll reach out to you again. We'll figure out a way to tune this up again, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anybody else, dude, Town Business was saying something about Samoan Raider, and he's one of them that said he wants to be on. So hopefully Samoan joins us at some time. I'm hoping Mikey from On Air Nation joins us at some time, and Sanjit T. What we're trying to build here is for everybody, not just this person, that person. You know what I mean? I know there's competition out there, but this is about unity on this platform. So, if someone else you want to join, man, you guys can hit me up, put a comment, and I'll give you my email, and we can instant message, or you can find me on Twitter. That's probably better. Find me on Twitter and just send me a direct message to me on Twitter, and then we can link up down the road or something if you guys want. But Big Tuna, man, let everybody know where they can find you, and we wrap this up.
As usual, guys, thank you for always having me on. I appreciate it. I like helping out as much as I can. You can check us out on YouTube at Bigger and Bradder Sports. We do everything. I'm a big Raider guy, but I also do more than just, Oakland Raiders stuff. We try to keep it as expanded as we can. You can check us out on Instagram at Bigger and Bradder Sports. And on Twitter, I'm at Big Tuna BBS. So, like I said, I appreciate you guys coming on with me, and I appreciate talking football with everybody. And, tomorrow's going to be interesting. If you can't get up for a game like tomorrow, then you shouldn't be a football fan. So,
yeah, you're in the wrong business, man.
Yeah, so,
this is where you get lit, man. And hey, like Zerko was saying, man, keep your gear, man. Don't burn that shit. I got 2 Jamarcus Russell, Rolando McClain hanging up in the closet. That's history. That's part of, that's part of the experience, man.
I was about to say, too, you're talking about
die, baby.
You're talking about jersey.
With family.
Dave, hit me up because I can get them super cheap, brother.
Really? Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll talk price.
Yeah. So
right on.
But yeah, anything else, just keep checking out the show. Hopefully it gets bigger and bigger as the days go on. And like I said, one nation always. And hope everyone has a good New Year.
Right.
Real quick, hardcore. I need y'all to stop. Those of y'all, I read the Twitter comments. Stop calling Cleveland Farrell a bus. He's not a bus.
Oh shit.
Stop calling him a bus.
I haven't called him a bus once, so
no, not you per se, but I read the comments. Some people out here, he's a bus. They should never draft him. He got 4.5 sacks. He's gonna be all right.
Hey, I still believe in Farrell, dude. I know. I don't think the Raiders are using him as just a strictly defensive end, and they may not be bringing out his best strength.
He played defensive tackle most of the year, also. So
yes, to be a sack master, but we got a lot of upside, I think, to Farrell that we haven't seen it all come together 100, but I think we will. I'm optimistic about next year for sure. So I agree, man. Put the brakes on him, man.
I gotta say something about Cleveland.
He ain't been in the NFL for 6 years. And last quick thing, Captain Jack, man, dude. You guys check out Captain Jack's YouTube channel. Captain Jack is an old school cat, man, with a lot of wisdom. He allows everybody to call into the show, gives you 5 minutes, and Captain Jack has a great show. So you guys check out Captain Jack on YouTube and give him a call. He goes live like right after the game. He's been doing it. Even though he goes to road games and stuff, he's still bringing it and doing shows right after the game, dude. So mad respect to Captain Jack holding that down. For the Raider Nation, you guys participate in that, dude, and we'll definitely bring Captain Jack back on down the road, and bring this whole thing together again, and just much love, Raider Nation, man. It's one nation, man. It's Raider Nation. Stand up, boom!
That's right, baby.
Let's go,
baby. That's right. Yeah,
man. Let's go.
Going AFC West. AFC West victory tomorrow, man. But real quick, Cleveland Farrell though, high IQ player is my opinion on Farrell. I think it's all about that film study, man. He brings that element,
Hell yeah.
So
hey, he's man. I ain't tripping about him. He's gonna be a good player, man. But you guys.
Big Tuna, give him a break. Big Tuna, give him a break.
Hell yeah, I love it, dude. I love it, man. All right, man. I'm gonna do a couple videos. I'm gonna do the weather show that I did, so you guys can see how cold it is here in Colorado, and then we're gonna close out, and then love you guys, man. Take care. Have a good New Year.
You got it, baby. Go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
I'm seeing y'all on Twitter, man. Have a great, blessed day, man. Go Raiders.
Yes.
Out. What's up, Raider Nation? I'm Hardcore Raider here in Colorado. I'm about an hour south of Denver. About 28 degrees, expecting 1 to 3 inches of snow. And then tomorrow it's supposed to be about 35 with 5 to 10 mile an hour winds. And it's usually not too bad. Unless it gets windy. Once it's like 40 degrees or colder, like 35, 30 degrees, and then if you get wind, then it gets real cold. I'm Hardcore Raider, your meteorologist, Raider Nation, I'm out.